Streaming from Accra.
Guide Radio. The new wave. I hope you guys are having a lovely time. My name is Lady Pulos, and you're listening to The Guide Radio on one of my podcast sessions. Today we have the lovely Nana here with us. I mean, can I even speak English right now? And we're going to be talking about so many different things. But I'm going to first of all let Nana introduce herself. And I know I threw you under the bus there, but I let everyone introduce themselves. But Nana, take over.
Hi, so I'm Nana Eyeson Akiwowo, and I'm the founder of African Health Now, and we provide primary maternity health care for women here in Ghana and in Nigeria now. So yeah, I guess that's a quick gist about me.
That was brilliant. That was very succinct.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And how's the holidays been so far?
It's been good. I've been doing a lot of traveling. I got here by way of Lomé because the flights were so expensive.
Oh, goodness.
So I flew into Lomé. I drove from Lomé to Accra. I slept for one day, and then I took a flight from Accra to Lagos. And I was in Lagos for a week, and then now I'm here.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Wow. That is quite the expedition.
Yes, it was quite the expedition.
I mean, this is like some serious tiredness I would be feeling right now.
Oh, I'm totally tired. I've not slept consecutive, like a good 8 hours.
Oh, no.
Yet.
You can't be doing that.
Yeah,
You cannot be doing that.
I wear a lot of concealer, as we discussed earlier.
We did discuss this earlier. But it's working for you. It's good.
As long
it's
as
good.
it's working. The heat, Hamatan, I wear a lot of concealer. I don't care. I'm not going to let you see that there is a whole Gucci bag underneath my eyes.
That's brilliant. Okay, no worries. That's cool. Besides the heat in itself, what have you been up to in Ghana at this moment?
So far, I think I came in directly and went straight to Afrochella, which was dope. Really dope.
Okay.
And then I've just been on the ground working. African Health Now received an amazing sponsorship from Globalcom, which is Nigeria's Glow, which is our version of Glow.
Okay, sure.
And we are producing a total of 600 maternity boxes. We produced 300 maternity boxes that we gave away in Nigeria, and now we have to do the same here in Ghana. So I've just been
awesome.
Kind of production mode, getting all of those assets together so that we can do that within the next couple of weeks.
That's awesome. That's a lot of stuff going on. So on the topic of African Health Now, I just want to understand, and for all the listeners here, how it really just started. What was the reason for it? Where did it come from?
Oh, yeah. So the story behind it, my background was in production. So I used to be the bookings editor for Essence Magazine for many years.
Okay.
And I did photo shoot production. And one day I was at a photo shoot, and I'd spoken to my dad earlier that day, and he was like, he wasn't feeling well, and he was going to go to the doctor. And I was like, all right, cool, bye. Call me when you're done. Mm-hmm. And then maybe mid-afternoon, U.S. time, someone called me on my dad's line, and it wasn't my dad. And he was like, your old man is sick in my car. And I was like, okay, let me talk to him. And he goes, he said he's having a heart attack. He can't talk. And I was like, well, this conversation is already going off to a bad start.
Oh, goodness.
What are you, like, where, who, what, when? And so I didn't have any of those answers. Like, I couldn't answer anything.
Yeah.
And so he was just going to take him back to the hospital and leave him there. And I begged him to take him back. And I think my dad had gone to 37 or Kolebu, one of the two.
Oh, my goodness.
And he was just going to leave him there. And I was like, well, no, I really need you to stay with him. Can you please stay with him? And simultaneously, my phone went off. And a friend of mine from Lagos had come to Ghana for a conference and just wanted to know where he should go eat. And I was like, well, my dad is in this predicament. Can you help me?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I got you. Solid.
Oh, my goodness.
So he just left the airport, went straight to the hospital, coordinated with my dad, found him, got the doctors, put all of those moving parts into place.
Okay.
And I still call him like my saving angel. And he just put it all into place for me. And so because my dad was able to get that kind of access and advocacy, I started to think about the healthcare system in Ghana.
Sure.
I'd never thought about it before. I'd always come to Ghana, enjoyed like the rest of us, and left. Mm-hmm. Never got sick. Always took my malaria pills. Never had to go to the hospital.
Right.
So I didn't know any of those ins and outs. And so then it just became kind of that wake-up call for me. And I wanted to say thank you. So the very first thing I did was I decided that we were going to do a health fair in our area. So I got about 21 of my friends who were coming from different parts of the, internationally, to volunteer one day. And they came, and we saw 350 people in one day. And we provided hypertension screening, diabetes screening. We did a dental exam for the kids. We talked to the women about self-breast examinations. We talked to men about the signs. I talked to everyone about the signs of a heart attack, all of these variables. And then that kind of was the starting point for African Health Now. That's where we started. We started with a health fair in Pokwase.
Wow.
And then it just kept growing.
I'm stunned.
Yeah.
That story in itself is really shocking.
Yeah.
Though. But I'm sure that's...
But the story is also, a piece about it is that everyone has that story of someone, especially as you get older, your parents get older, or your friends or whatever, and they go to the hospital, and it's not so much of, it's a lack of infrastructure that's in the hospital clinics. And not to say that in any hospital, a heart attack from someone showing the signs of a heart attack at my father's age could not have been missed. Of course it could have been missed. But I think for us, that makes it more jarring or challenging, is that if you don't have someone there to advocate for you, to pay up front, to be very clear that I have the capacity to pay for the health care, you end up not getting as much attention as someone who does have that capacity. Yeah. And that's the disconnect.
It's quite unfortunate that that's the experience that a lot of people would face. And as you said before, I guess a lot of people who are Ghanaians, or Africans generally, who've lived abroad and experienced something totally different, coming back and all is well, and they leave. They don't realize the actual...
They don't think about it at all.
Because, a couple of weeks back, I was quite unwell. Not to the extent of that, but I was quite unwell, and I realized, in that short period that, oh wait, I don't really have anybody that's nearby. The ambulance probably won't come, and I can't move myself. And I was just thinking, this is really tragic. Yeah. Because if I was really, really alone in this country,
you'd be in trouble.
It'd be scary.
No, you'd be in trouble. I mean, if you think about it, if someone gets into a car accident in Ghana, you have to, the people stop on the road to help take the person to the hospital. And it's not that we are without the capacity to create an infrastructure that would support that. It's just maybe not where we are right now. And in the time being, as a nonprofit and as an individual, I find that it is part of our civic duty to kind of fill in the gaps where we can. We're not going to do it alone, but we can surely fill in some gaps in partnership with corporations, and partnerships with government, and partnerships with other individuals who have wealth that have the capacity to help support. We can fill in the gaps. Yeah. There should be no reason why.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. And since this time, how long has it actually been? Are you focusing on this right now?
Yeah, that we've been doing this since our first health fair was in 2007.
2007?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've done programs in Pokwase, Tema Station, before Tema Station blew up. We've done Ablagoshi, we've done Mamprobi, Medina, Kumasi. So yeah, we've been around for a while.
Yeah. And as it stands as African Health Now, what nations are being
serviced?
Yeah, what nations?
So right now we've been doing Ghana primarily, and with our recent sponsorship from Glow, we were able to go into Nigeria. So now we're looking into doing in the Yaba area in Nigeria. We did our first maternity box distribution at the Iyawa PHC in Makoko. And so we're working with them and some other entities there to kind of figure out how we can support them long term.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, what are the, I guess, what has been the biggest challenge, or what are the challenges that you've been facing since starting this?
The challenges vary. We're a nonprofit that works out of the U.S. A lot of it is that we're grassroots, right? As it is, we don't receive currently as much corporate and organizational foundational funding. A lot of the work that we've done has been funded by individuals, especially Africans who live in the diaspora, who believe in the work and also understand what it means to receive that kind of call.
So donations.
So donations, there have been a lot of individual donations.
Wow,
and then
okay.
I've individually supported it myself. And so I always feel like I can't expect you to fund it if I won't fund it.
Sure.
And
yeah.
so I've matched a lot of the donations that we've had just in order to produce the health fairs. Some health fairs upwards of, we cost about between $5,000 to $10,000 to fully produce a health fair that will service up to 300 to 600 people.
Yeah.
In order to get the supplies, in order to get the volunteers and the airfare and the freight to bring the supplies over, all of those things come into cost, and we make it happen.
Yeah. Do you, as a grassroots organization, I wonder how much do you work a lot with the government in itself, or is it do you separate yourself?
I don't
Especially
separate
in Ghana,
myself intentionally. It's not an intentional separation, to be honest. And, I would love to work with the government a lot more, especially as we work on our maternity programs. I would love to create a partnership with the government, with the Ministry of Health. In the past, it just wasn't something that was happening. And I can also speak that I'm very much about, I need to get the work done. And a lot of the bureaucracy that we'd had to deal with in the past maybe deterred us from saying, if I'm trying to just produce a health fair or a mobile clinic in a community, I don't have the bandwidth to navigate what the government needs versus what the clinic needs, what the community needs.
Sure.
And so what we've done a lot of is we've just gone into communities and identified spaces. Like when we did Ablagoshi. We did Ablagoshi because a lot of the people from Tema Station who had been displaced from the fire went to Ablagoshi. And the organization that we were working with at the time was like, you know what? This is the community. A lot of the women are Kayoye girls, and these are the girls that need the work. And they're now moving into Ablagoshi. Okay. So can we go to Ablagoshi? And we're like, if you can set it up with the community and they'll welcome us, I'll bring it anywhere. I just need 24 hours. I can turn any open space into a health clinic.
Wow.
So if I had to do that, plus navigate different conversations, it becomes too much.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't want to do it or that we don't need to do it. It would totally help propel the process and help propel the impact, of course. But I don't want to be slowed down by it. So I'm not opposed to working with the government in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not something that has happened.
I guess it might be a bit more difficult to maintain at its core what African Health wants to do, maybe when you get more of an, help or guidance with the government, maybe?
No, I think it's a catch-22. You still would have to go to the bureaucracy is what would make you slow down.
Sure.
But the impact in terms of, think about, we service in Medina right now, we work with a polyclinic and we support a polyclinic in Medina. It's a government clinic. So of course I would want government support because you don't want to continue pouring in money into an entity that you don't have the full support of it from every level. Yeah. We have the support right now from the nurses level and from the doctors level, and they tell us what they need and we come in and we support how we can. But of course I would love to be able to do more with it. And so it's something that we definitely have in the works and conversations that we're open to having once we can, figure out the right person to have the conversation with. We totally would. We're not opposed to it in any way, shape, or form.
Have you had then difficulties talking to the right people in the government to help you fund the whole?
Yeah, we've had some, I wouldn't call it difficulties. We just haven't put, we're in a country, in any society, you got to have the conversation with the right person at the right time to make it work. And I can take fault in saying that it is also, as a very small organization, I don't have enough manpower to put into the chase versus the activation. But we're open to the conversation with any organization or any government official that wants to say, hey, we see what you're doing. We appreciate what you've been able to do by yourself for the past 11 years. How can we take this project to another level? How can we take this entity, these initiatives to the next level or incorporate them more fully into their existing programs? We're totally open to that conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. To go back on the impact in the communities in itself, what is the reception like? What is the feedback from those within those communities that you're
The
impacting?
feedback has been pretty positive. We've been really working. The reason why we started to work with one location, which is in Medina, for our maternity initiative, is because when you do a mobile clinic, what ends up happening is that you end up losing the individual.
Okay.
So I came to your clinic today on Tuesday, and I gave you a number, and on Wednesday, I happen to change my SIM card, or 2 weeks from now, I change my SIM.
Sure.
And you now can't track me to find out how I'm doing and if I followed up and went to the doctor based off of what we saw. So when we started working with the clinic, it was solely for the purposes that they had the ability to track and that we would be allowed to work. We would be continuous in the people that we were seeing.
Okay, sure.
So I saw Ajwa today. I will get Ajwa to come back next week. If Ajwa gets pregnant, she'll come back to this clinic. We can keep a continuous relationship with her. So I find that in that regards, we've gotten a lot of great reception. And even when we do the mobile clinics in places, people appreciate it. I mean, I remember one clinic we did, I want to say it was in Pokwase, that we did this fair and it was over. And this old lady came to my house the next day.
Okay.
And I was like, and she came, knocked on the gate.
Just
you know,
randomly.
randomly.
Didn't know she was coming.
Didn't know she was coming. She had seen somebody with one of our giveaway bags.
Okay.
So at each one, we give a giveaway bag. It has toothbrush, it has toothpaste, it has vitamins, it has all these things in it.
Okay.
And she was like, she wasn't feeling well and she was hoping to see one of the doctors. And I was like, well, they're gone. And I am not a doctor. I'm not a doctor.
Sure.
I was just like, I'm so not a doctor.
Yeah.
You don't want me to do anything.
Do you not put that
You
white
don't
coat
want me to
on?
put
Like
that white coat on.
No.
I don't have that capacity. And my dad said something interesting to me. He said, remember, the basis of what you're doing is about providing access and information. And she knows that she has hypertension. She can't afford the medication. She doesn't have a machine. So you can take her blood pressure. You can check her glucose.
Okay.
That you know how to do.
Okay.
And so in doing that alone, I found that this woman was just extremely thankful for just that moment
Yeah.
of being able to come and see someone who would be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that is where I kind of get the reactions and the response from the people that we serve, is that I know that they are appreciative and that what we provide them is things that they need. We did a fair in Pando. I think it was last year, 2017, we went to Pando.
Okay.
And we got to Pando and we realized that everyone showing up to our clinic, they already knew they had hypertension.
Right.
They already knew that they were really suffering from high blood pressure. Their disconnect was that they couldn't afford the medication. So do I continue to just give you a screening to tell you that your blood pressure is still high? Or with the support of the doctors, can you tell me what the base level script is for everyone? And what do they need in different dosages? And how much does it cost? Can we go and purchase it? And we went to the pharmacy and we went and purchased it. And that was part of what we did. So now when the doctor sees someone and they know the doctor's already has a relationship with this patient, you've come to the clinic, your blood pressure is extremely high, I want you to take this medicine. I can't leave it to you to go get the medicine yourself because you can't afford it.
Sure.
So now we let the doctors use their discretion who they would prescribe the medicine to. And they had the medicine to prescribe. And it was no longer like, take this script and go buy. It was, here is your dosage of the next 30 days.
Yeah.
So within the next 30 days, you should be able to figure out how to save, provide, or get the next 30.
Yeah.
But at least we kick you off with the first 30. And that in of itself can save someone's life from having a random heart attack or something of that nature. So that's kind of how we gauge success. We know that the people continue to come. We know that the doctors are appreciative of the support that they get in helping them kind of close the gap between awareness and getting people to actually show up.
Okay.
So.
That's awesome. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, there's like a bedside
manner.
Sure, that's it. And I guess in that sense, you reach more people when you're able to empathize with them.
Totally.
And if you're unable to do that, you're not going to get the right that same feedback back.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to come there because I want to take. But now you're having, I guess, building a relationship with the people.
It's all
in
about
there.
relationship, which is why all of our volunteers, our very first clinic we did, everyone came from abroad. And it's cool because people can see the doctors from abroad that are of Ghanaian descent want to give back. But the disconnect is I can't talk to this doctor that came from Germany ever again.
Right.
And so what we started to do is we have a great resource of volunteer nurses and doctors from 37 military hospital. We have volunteers from various polyclinics and even private clinics who come and volunteer their time with us. But that connection is that if I tell you to go back to Medina Clinic to get your follow-up physical, you spoke to the nurse today who is at Medina Clinic.
Yeah.
So when you go back tomorrow, you can speak to the same person. You already have a relationship. You created something. And so that was always what became important to us. What we started to see was like, it's great to bring in people from abroad. It's awesome. They can do this kind of like doctors with, without borders type of thing and feel good. But the participant doesn't have the opportunity to reconnect with you because you're gone. So when we get more volunteers that are local based doctors, at least I can text the doctor and say, you remember me from this thing, whatever. I'm not feeling well. I don't know what to do. Can I come to your clinic and see you? That's a connection.
Yeah.
That makes me want to come to the doctor. I don't feel like I'm having to stand at a clinic for 5 hours to wait to see somebody who never shows up.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's actually perfect. I get that, and that it makes total sense in the way of actually being able to actually create a sustainable sort of
relationship.
Relationship.
It's a relationship that you want to build. And also for us, when we talk to our participants, we want to demystify this idea that doctors are like the holy grail and that you can't go to a doctor and speak up for yourself or tell the doctor, what it is bothering you and feel confident in that. So by getting doctors to volunteer, you have a better relationship. They're not in their office. They're not in the clinic. They're outside. You're hot. They're hot. We're chatting, you're talking, they can have more conversation with you. You can be more honest and more, encouraging you to be more honest with them to say, this is really what's bothering me.
Yeah.
This is what I didn't do. This is what I did do. How do I fix it? And they can have conversation with you. So
just quick, on your Instagram, I saw that there was a mini video of you showing the birthing kits, I believe.
Yes.
And they were going for how much? In that sense,
the birthing kit, which video? So we have two birthing kits. We have a
The recent
birthing
one.
kit, and then we have a Maternity Go Box.
Maybe it's the Maternity Go Box. Yeah.
So the Maternity Go Box is an initiative we started, and we're doing it as a program in the U.S. where people in the U.S. can purchase boxes. And for every time a woman purchases a box for a baby shower in the U.S., a woman in Africa will receive a comparable box.
That's awesome.
Or you can just donate the cost of us creating the box.
Yeah.
So the cost to create a box on our site, I hope I'm remembering this properly, is $75
Okay.
is the cost to create a box.
Okay.
That would then provide a woman here in Ghana with a comparable box. And in the box so the Go Box essentially is about supporting mothers who do antenatal care.
Okay.
So mothers who seek prenatal care and who decide to deliver at the clinics that they seek prenatal care. And right now, again, our partner clinic is Medina Polyclinic. Mothers who come to the Medina Polyclinic and receive their antenatal care with them consistently, participate, and then deliver at the clinic, receive a box that has sanitary pads, diapers, soap to bathe, a blanket for them to wrap their baby, a baby hat, socks, and cloth to wrap the baby as well. And so they receive that blanket because I delivered in the U.S. I'm a mother of a 5-year-old. And when I delivered in the U.S., when I walked out of NYU, I had everything. If I had never had a baby shower, didn't know how to take care of a baby or anything, I had this one huge duffel bag with everything. Hats, onesies, I had powdered milk. I had sanitary pads for days. I had diapers.
God.
I had like this fully equipped take your baby home and take care of your baby kit kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mothers in Ghana go to the hospital, you get nothing. If a woman delivers in a clinic in Ghana right now, she gets a sanitary pad and a diaper, or what the clinic can afford. Some clinics can afford multiple sanitary pads. Some clinics can't. And that's real. And that when you take that woman goes back home, if she doesn't have the money to provide that, you are left feeling a bit inadequate as a woman and as a mom.
Yeah.
And it becomes this huge burden on your family. And it shouldn't be. it shouldn't be something that we can't provide mothers with birthing kits, especially if we're encouraging them to go through and get prenatal care.
Yeah. My goodness.
Do you then have full-time volunteers, or is it more like a part-time sort of thing?
We have a part-time sort of thing. So we have like this really cool group chat that I can hit up the group chat and say to them, hey guys, we have something we need to do in the next 2 days or something. Who can volunteer? What, can you do it? And then they jump on and say,
That's
yes.
awesome.
We have a program manager that's based in Ghana, that's full-time. And so he does a lot of the footwork and navigating and getting more volunteers. As we're growing, we just slowly signed on a new brand ambassador who, Sasha Oko, who owns Viva Boutique, has agreed to come on and support our initiative. And so that's really
awesome.
amazing. And so as we're growing and we're getting bigger a little bit, each day, we take a new step.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
I guess one of my final questions would be, what are your hopes? What do you want to see happening with African health? And I don't know, in 2019, what's happening?
2019, it's part of our strategic goals that we wanted to get into more countries. And right now, getting into Nigeria has been a big win for us. And I think that was really amazing. And getting more sponsorships. So the relationship with Globalcom and Glo was just amazing. And it came on it right at the right time. And so creating more of those sponsorships and more of those opportunities for us to grow. The polyclinic right now that we support has about 200 mothers in the antenatal program. So we want to get to a place where we are able to really supply and support these mothers with maternity boxes, with prenatal care initiatives that can kind of continue to encourage them and support the infrastructure of the clinic. Where we want to go is, I think we're in that direction by our partnership in Nigeria, being able to say that we have a clinic here and we have a clinic in Nigeria that we're supporting. I think for us, that's kind of like the direction. Long-term goal is that we want to be providing maternity boxes to all polyclinics and supporting a lot of the maternity initiatives in this country, especially in Ghana. So,
wow, there's a lot of things that's going to be happening.
A lot of things happening.
But you know what? I'm not gonna let you go just yet.
Okay.
You're like, no, I'm leaving. No, stay right here. If you guys I hope you're still enjoying this. I'm definitely learning so much. You're still listening to the Guide Radio, and my name is Lady Pulos. We're gonna be going on a break right now, and we'll be right back very soon. So don't go anywhere.
Streaming from Accra.
Guide Radio, the new wave. Hello guys, this is the Guide Radio. My name is Lady Pulos, and you're still listening to Nana. Nana, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
So just before we were talking about a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I hope you guys are actually listening, because there's so many things that I've definitely learned from this conversation so far. So make sure you stay tuned, and obviously you can listen to it again. So Nana, I actually wanted to ask you about women's health in Africa specifically. What do you think of it? What is going on here?
That's kind of big.
Let's bring it to Ghana.
Let's bring it to Ghana and say what specifically about women's health. I mean, I think that as a country, we might not have focused so much on women's health and women being the backbone of the culture in our community. And the thing about it is that we often put ourselves last. And so it's this space of like lack of self-care that we don't have. The market, I always say the market woman is the backbone of any economy. That woman who goes into work and supports her children and supports her family and brings her money back into it. And you can always count on her doing that. I think that part of her doing that is a constant pouring out. And she very rarely gets to pour back into herself. So a lot of topics in regards to women's health that we don't discuss are cultural taboos, breast cancer, cervical cancers, infertility, young girls, and sexual education and menstruation health and hygiene. So there's a bunch of things that culturally we just don't talk about, and therefore it doesn't give it a platform. But I think that the conversation is changing. I think that, I've been paying attention to some of the work that the current first lady and the second lady have been doing around women's health and maternal health care, that I think that they're pushing that needle in terms of like, well, let us talk about us as women. Let's get together and really talk about what we need and figure out ways in which we can provide that for each other.
Yeah, and I wonder though, especially in Ghana, it's so focused on, I guess, I want to say spirituality, let's say that. But how does that ever become an issue, especially in African health? So people often, when you tell them, oh, this is a situation that's happening with you, this is what's wrong, do they often come back and like, oh no, I'll just pray about it, or oh no, I don't want to talk about this? Or do you ever have that situation?
Oh, yeah, but that's also, there's a way in which around that, you know. I think that I remember having a woman in Kumasi. We did a self-breast examination, and we were doing this thing with, I think it was called Reach for Ghana.
Okay.
I think the organization was called Reach for Ghana. It was a woman who is based here, who had breast cancer and had a mastectomy. She had a double mastectomy.
Oh, wow.
And she came to the health fair and talked about what it meant to have a double mastectomy. And she brought in the implant, like the implant that she puts in her bra.
She brought in the implant?
Yeah, she brought it in. Because you have to kind of if we're going to have a conversation, let's have a conversation.
Let's be real about it.
That's what we don't do, is we don't have a naked conversation, like a truthful conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so she brought in the implant and she showed the implant to the women. And the women were like, hey, I didn't know, I would have never thought that you didn't have breast.
Wow.
And she was like, yeah, because we come to a place where we associate breast with womanhood, and it is part of it. But if it's my life or my breast, I always am going to choose my life.
Yeah.
But it was creating that dialogue that she was having with other women for them to not judge other women who had chosen to do that. And though we get, you know, I think in that same health fair, I think when you're conversation around spirituality, a woman came to me and said she had a pom-pom, like a lump.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, let's, like, where? And she was like, feel it. She started holding her breast and she took my hand to her breast. And I was like, okay, you definitely have a lump.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lump. But it could be any kind of a lump. I'm not saying that every lump is a breast cancer lump.
It could be benign.
It could be benign. It could be ingrown, a really bad ingrown hair. It could be all kinds of different things. And I was like, well, what are we doing about it? And she was like, oh, me bompire. I'm praying on it. And I have this salve that she, like, opened up this jar. And she was like, and I'm putting it on that. And I was like, oh, shit. Really?
Okay.
You have a salve and you're praying? I don't know if that's really okay, but I'm not going to judge you because that's what you're doing. So I had to have the conversation from a space like, well, look, I respect that you're praying on it, but you came here for a reason. Why don't we try and get it tested out?
Yeah.
Why don't we look? It won't take away anything. But her real concern was like, she can't have breast cancer. And I was like, you might not have breast cancer, but if you do, let's figure out how we can fix it.
Yeah.
But let's just find out. She was so stuck on it's not breast cancer. And I was like, okay, it's not, but let's figure out what it is.
Yeah.
But from a spiritual space, she was like, and from a cultural space, I'm not losing my husband because I don't have a breast.
That's sad.
That's real though.
Yeah.
Like that's the average woman is thinking real tactile things.
Yeah.
I'm not losing my husband because I don't have a breast.
Yeah, sure.
And so a lot of the work that you do and what we do with AHN is around the education, is around the conversation and breaking the stereotypes, and not in any way dehumanizing it or not in any way making it seem archaic or, you know, disrespecting it, but just saying that there's a different way to do it.
Yeah.
And let's look at it and let's think about it. Spirituality will always come in because we're a country that is really heavily strong on our spirituality, whether it be Muslim or, Christian faith or, tribal faith, whatever it is, we're really strong in that. And that makes us who we are.
Yeah.
So no way want to take that away from you. But we also have to register that there's so many other ways in which we can do things. And there's so many other ways in which we can, so many directions we can address the topic from. So why don't we just open ourselves up to that conversation?
Yeah. Wow. No, I guess it's true in that sense. I haven't had that experience, but I do know some people who've had to gone through having a vasectomy and having that taken away. A lot of women
You feel less than.
You feel less than,
I totally
yeah.
understand that. And in a culture in which we really put a lot of pressure on women to get married, to have babies, to look like a woman and be a woman. All of those things, both here on the continent and also in Western society, is also the same thing. It's all, those things are the same thing. Everyone puts this immense pressure on women to fit a mold of what they feel and deem womanhood is. I mean, I have a short haircut. You don't know how many people have told me that my husband is going to leave me because I don't have hair.
What?
I'd be like, what does one have anything to do with the other?
Oh my goodness.
And if he is going to leave me because I don't have hair, then he might not have been the right husband.
Right, I would say so.
I would say that after 10 years, if it's my haircut that's going to break us up, then all right, I guess.
If that was the deal breaker, that's unfortunate.
But it's also based from, because I come from a space where my parents were very particular about not making marriage my priority.
Oh, okay, wow.
And so me getting married was just a luck. It was an extra. Me having a baby was an extra. It wasn't the priority in raising me. It wasn't. No one ever said to me, not from my parents at least, when are you getting married?
Right.
When are you getting married? When are you getting married? When are you getting married? When are you getting married?
Wow.
I'd be like, no one ever asked that question. So they were just like, oh, she's getting married. Look at that.
Lucky you, because I'm definitely getting that on both sides already.
No one asked me.
Actually, I want to understand a little bit more about you personally. Where were you born in Ghana itself, or did you move?
Nope, I was born in Brooklyn.
You were born in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn in the house. I was born in Brooklyn, and my parents immigrated to New York in, I want to say, early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. And I'm one of three. I'm the only one that was born in the U.S., but
everyone else was born in.
Everyone was born in Ghana. And they're older. I'm the youngest as well, so they were born in Ghana before my parents immigrated over for that, greener pastures, better life, start over.
That's
the classic story.
Yeah,
But my parents were very Pan-Africanist, and that my dad was a big Nkrumah believer and supporter, and kind of made sure that I spoke Tree. So I spoke Tree before I spoke English.
Wow.
And I had only eaten Ghanaian food up until, like, I would go to a friend's house and be like, you don't have rice and stew? Wow. How am I supposed to eat? And then my friends would come to my house and be like, all you have is rice and stew. And I was like, I don't know anything else. Like,
oh my gosh.
You want emutio?
That's brilliant.
I got one or two options: rice and stew, rice and soup. What do you want?
Rice or stew, yeah.
Rice, and that's it. And so they just kind of created this structure where they had always taught me. I don't even think I knew I was born in the States until I had to get a passport renewed, and then I was like, oh, I don't have a Ghanaian passport.
Really?
And they were like, no. Yeah, well, how they were born in America, and I was like,
oh snap.
Well, that sucks. Darn.
You were upset about that?
I was kind of upset because I'd been raised. I was raised hardcore African.
I need to see photos. I need to.
Hard. My mom once did a homa. How do you say it in English? The thread when you thread a child's hair.
Okay.
My mom threaded my hair once to school. Like, she threaded it, and then when you've seen it. You've seen the women, they thread their hair.
Yeah.
And it sticks out really straight, and then they bend it into a basket type thing. And she sent me to school with this really cute basket.
It's adorable.
It was cute until I got to class.
And then what happened?
Everyone threw spitballs in it.
No.
It was tragic.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Tragic. They literally were just like, spitball. It was just coming in. It was like using my cute little basket hair for like this basketball hoop.
That's interesting, because
tragic.
I want to find out, how is growing up having that sense of,
it's tragic.
It's horrible, but growing up having that, your parents instilling that within you, who you are and where you've come from. How is that like when you were living in, besides the story of your hair?
It creates assimilation. It creates I can code switch like anyone else. Like, it's also, sometimes we talk about this in the States, like the Black American experience, where you have to code switch from being Black to kind of working in corporate America. There's a switch. There's a switch.
Okay.
There's a cultural switch. So there's a immigrant switch. So things that if two immigrants are in the room together, how they talk to each other is going to be different when someone Caucasian comes into the room, and then you switch. Your tone switches, your language
How
switches.
does that? I want to see what I want to figure
No,
out.
so it's like, if it's the same thing that happens here in Ghana. So if you're talking to your mate and you're like, oh, Chale, they go, and you have pidgin, and then random white guy comes in, or random American or someone comes in, you switch from that to the Queen's English.
Yeah, you do.
That's a code switch.
Yeah.
So being able to know that is an assimilation. It's the ability to assimilate into a culture that is not yours.
And so that's what you.
And so I've learned to assimilate in my culture. And so in the States, I don't have a problem being African, nor do I have a problem just being Black, or what you would deem Black American. Because before you know that I'm African, you assume that I'm Black American in the States or anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I have to switch between those languages. I have to turn off my African-ness in a way when I leave the house, but I surely had to turn off my Americanness when I entered the house. Because there's no neck rolling, there's no talking back, there's no, how I talk to my parents is different than how my friends talk to their parents.
Yeah.
It's a very clear demarcation between who you are in the outside world and who you are inside. And it's the same thing. It's a clear demarcation between who you are professionally and who you are personally.
I guess in that sense, was it difficult to kind of separate that? Wouldn't you rather have both of the worlds? Was it like, who do you feel that you are like?
I'm comfortable both. I'm comfortable in every way. Like, I think I had a conversation the other day talking about, if you in Africa, do you feel African or do you feel like a foreigner in Africa?
Sure. Yeah.
I still feel African.
Okay.
I don't have any disconnect. And when I'm in America, I still feel African. I still have no disconnect being African wherever I'm at. My primary thing is that I'm African. I'm married to an African. I'm raising an African child. My daughter is we were very intentional in not giving her a European name. My husband doesn't have a European name. I don't have a European name.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't get one either.
Yeah.
And so it forces you to say her name in the way in which it's supposed to be pronounced.
Okay.
And then when you ask her what that name means, she can tell you, and she can tell you where it's from, and she will identify as, I'm African.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
And that's how.
Yeah.
But she'll assimilate.
Yeah.
Because she is in America, and she is going to have to deal with people that are from different cultures. But she'll know that at her core, she's African.
Yeah. That's, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You're so amazed by that.
No, it's not even that I'm amazed. It's just, I love that though.
London, like, you're from London?
Well, yeah. I mean, yes.
So when you're in London, do you feel African, or do you
See,
not?
that's interesting because my dad's Greek Cypriot and my mum is Ghanaian. And I was born in Ghana and I moved to London a little bit later.
Okay.
But so in London, I guess I would say then, okay, I'm British. But like, I never say that immediately. When people ask me where I'm from, I say I'm Greek Cypriot and I'm Ghanaian. And then it's a whole conversation like, oh, you are? And I'm like, yeah. Well, and that's just the way it is. And I guess I understand that, never having to, you feel who you are wherever you actually are. Like, you're not going to stop picking and choosing and thinking what it is. And I get that. But it's interesting because I hope the Queen's not listening. I'm joking. But like, I never been like, oh, I'm British. Like, this is me. I'm British.
Right.
Like, I never had that kind of like, I guess, I don't want, for lack of a better word, I want to say patriotism. I don't want.
But no, it's not. I can be patriotic. You can be patriotic and not have to be. I can believe in the freedoms of the United States and some of the tenets of how it's structured. I can also disagree with a lot of the things that is there. That has nothing to do with how American or non-American I am.
Yeah.
Was I born in America? Yes. But if you ask me who I am and how I self-identify as an African in America, only because that is how I was raised to self-identify. And my culture is a clear indication of who I am.
Yeah.
And so because my culture is African and Ghanaian to be specific, it is just what I identify as.
Yeah.
Does it get challenged? Oh, super challenged.
Yeah, you have to fight.
You have to fight. Even in Ghana, I'll say something in Tree and someone would be like, so they were free out. You'd be like, so I'm not from here. What's your point?
Yeah.
I'm not born in Ghana, but I still speak Tree.
Yeah.
I understand what's happening. And if you might not like my accent with it or my tonation, but I'm not going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You understood what I said, right?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Onto the same that particular thing in itself. What were people's perceptions of Africa? Would you? I mean, I guess in school and stuff like that, maybe they'd ask you about
all kinds of stupid things.
like, what is it gonna something? Do you still live in huts? Is that a question?
Oh no, someone asked me that. I remember when I was young, someone was like, "Does your grandmother live in a hut?" And I was like, "No, she lives in a 5-bedroom house." Why does your grandmother live in an apartment? Like, what is that about? And I remember just being like, I don't understand why your grandmother's house is so small. My grandma's house is big.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I don't know. But it's also, I don't know. I think my parents totally groomed me for the process. They knew it would come, and so they groomed us for the process.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I got all kinds of stupid questions. People ask dumb questions all the time.
I mean, yeah.
Like people still ask dumb questions.
They do?
Yeah. Especially after Wakanda. I mean, people ask dumb.
Oh my
dumb
goodness.
questions.
I
Like,
do remember the
dumb
most ridiculous questions coming up.
Like people were walking up to me. I remember I was in the city and I had on this dress, this like green dress that had like a little bit of Ankara print around the neck.
Yeah.
I didn't even buy it in Ghana. I bought it in like South Africa or something. Cute little dress. I was just walking, minding my business. And this woman walked up to me and she did the Wakanda shield thing. And I was like,
no, she didn't.
And I stood there stuck because I was like, what's wrong with her? She crossed her hands and I was like, what does that mean? And it took me a minute and I was like, oh, is that like the new black symbol or something? Is that like,
that's
like
a black symbol. Oh my
like
God.
Fight the power, like fist in the air. I was like,
that is no way.
I was like, I'm not walking around crossing my chest. It's not, I don't need to do it. I don't want to do it. It's not, I don't identify with it. I love what Black Panther did for the culture.
Yeah.
I love that Black Panther created a space in which people for the first time, or maybe not even for the first time, but there was a resurgence of people identifying and wanting to learn more about Africa.
Sure,
and respecting the capacity that Africa has.
Yeah.
I love that. But with that will come a lot of foolishness as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, so. I'm pretty sure I remember the actor looking fed up as time went on.
Every time someone would be like, Wakanda forever. He's like, it's not a place. It's not a place.
I mean, could there be Wakanda forever?
It could be Wakanda, but this is not. Like Africa forever, totally. Yeah, we can say that. But Wakanda is not a place, and it's cool that it's a made up place. But once people start to register that it's made up,
yeah,
I think for Africans, the real conversation is that for Africans who had always been coming home,
yeah,
and who are from here,
yeah,
and had always known the potential, it's kind of like Johnny come lately just discovered that we were smart. Really, we have always been smart.
Yes.
We make up 80% of the population in universities.
Yes.
We've always been smart.
Yeah.
You're just figuring it out because you had this preconceived notion of how we were living.
Exactly.
We already have the phantom. We already have we already have those things. It's not, we're not.
That's interesting because I was going to mention, some African American people coming back to Ghana, and I'm wondering what what is happening to your face right now?
To my face.
It's are you sure?
I'm totally sure. Nothing happened to my
But
face.
I just want to know quickly.
Nothing happened to my face.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Perfect.
Moving right along.
We're moving
right
swiftly
along. But no, people came to, you mean coming to Ghana now, or just in general?
General.
I think it's great. I think that, as Ghanaians and as someone who is I'm Ghanaian. I can trace, I think I was having a conversation with a girl that had just come here. It was her first trip to Africa. And we had a really intimate conversation where we were like, I feel bad as a Ghanaian that I might not have been as empathetic because I don't know what it is to not know who I am at my full core. Yeah. To really just say that I can trace my lineage directly to this place. Like I am Ghanaian.
Wow.
My mother is Kwo, my father is Fanti, We can go as far back. My grandfather died at 110, so he gave us a full history of who we are,
That's amazing.
where we came from, what role we played in the movement between the Akan tribes, and like I have a clear understanding of that. I don't know what it would be like to not have that understanding. Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of us have never been sympathetic to the need, and we've always been like, oh, they're just coming, and they're just coming. But there's a reason why they're coming, because they're looking for something. Yeah. And if they can find that something here, and they can, because the slave port is here. Yeah. We transported a lot of slaves through Ghana and through the west coast of Africa. So I think it's amazing that they can come back home and they can come and feel connected to something. I don't have any issue with it. I think it's great that you can come. But I think also what comes with it is that you have to see the country for the whole of the country. Sure. The good, the bad, the glitz. It's like, you always tell people, never decide to move to Africa because you came during Christmas time. Don't let Christmas. You told people, don't let Christmas Ghana get you all messed up and think that you should pack your bags and quit your 9 to 5 to come to Ghana to be an entrepreneur. That Christmas Ghana is not Ghana.
No, that's just parties
and such. And so it's always just important that when people come to any country, that they see the country for what it is. They see the beautiful parts of the country, the agriculture. They see the amazing progress that it's making. But you also have to be realistic and see the parts about the country that could still be developed. Sure. And if you are true to this experience and you are true to coming back, then figure out what role you play in helping with the development of the country. Don't just come and be like, I came and I saw and I left. I mean, and you can. If that's your experience, if that's what you want as well, you can totally come and do a tourist move and be like, I took my pictures with the crying babies and I'm out.
Oh my goodness. Can do that. An infomercial sort of
situation. You can totally do that if that's what you want. And that's fine. But I think if you really want to know a country and if you really want to connect to something, and if in Ghana or in any other African country, you really need to get your hands dirty and know who they are and what we believe in, and see how you fit into it.
I don't think I could have said it any better, to be honest.
That was my face.
Do you want to take over?
I'm moving to Ghana. I should call my husband now.
Stop it. Are you actually?
No, I would move to Ghana today. I would. But my husband is not moving to Africa.
He's not ready.
He's not interested.
He's not interested.
So when I talked about my Pan-African experience as a child, he had a polar reaction. He had a polar experience.
Okay.
So he wasn't raised feeling connected to being African. He was raised very with a clear understanding that he was American. Yeah. An American Nigerian. Okay. So, yeah, he doesn't have this, like, move back home syndrome that I do.
So, for now, you'll just be going back and forth. Just be
kicking up those air miles.
Oh, my gosh. So, I'm enjoying this conversation. I don't know.
That was fun.
I know. I don't think I'll be able to stop, but we'll continue this.
We'll continue offline. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You guys can't hear it. Sorry, my bad. But I hope you guys have been listening and enjoying this, because I definitely have. So much has been learnt, especially learning about African health now and the progress it's making and the impact it's going to be making. And I'm sure, especially in 2019, we're going to be hearing more from them and from Nana herself. Just quickly, could you tell people how to find you guys and if they want to donate?
If you want to donate, we are online. You can go to africanhealthnow.org. So that's www.africanhealthnow.org. You can follow us on Instagram at AfricanHealthNW. And those are pretty much the places to find us. We are here in Ghana now.
That's perfect. No worries. And we'll definitely put the links up in anything that is connected to African Health Now, so you guys can check that out. Also, don't forget that you can follow us on social media, The Guide Radio. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're everywhere. Just follow us.
Yes.
Just follow us.
Just follow us.
Just follow us. Don't ask questions.
Just follow us. Just go and follow.
So you've been listening to The Guide Radio, the new wave. I'm Lady Pulos, and I hope to be back here soon. Yeah. Don't go anywhere.
Streaming from Accra.
Guide Radio, the new wave.